even if Peter Obi wins, they will not give it to him. How possible is that? How true is that? Let's analyze this. Coming out to say that even if Peter Obi wins, they will not give it to him would mean that after a public declaration of Peter Obi as the winner of the election, as president-elect, after a public declaration following a peaceful and a fair election, a credible election, after being declared winner officially by INEC, then somebody will now decide that power will not be handed over to Peter Obi on May 29, 2023. That's what that statement will mean. That even if Peter Obi wins, they will not give it to him. Now, who is that person that will decide not to hand over power to Peter Obi if Peter Obi wins? Who are the possible persons? Is it the INEC chairman that would definitely be the one to announce who the winner is? So if Peter Obi wins, it will mean that it is the INEC chairman that declared him winner. So is it the INEC chairman that would have declared him winner that will now come round to say, oh, power must not be handed over to Peter Obi? Is it the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in this case now, APC's President Muhammadu Buhari, that will now come out after elections have been peaceful, they have been fair, and they have been credible, and INEC has come out to make an announcement and declared Peter Obi winner? Is it President Muhammadu Buhari that will now say, despite the fact that Peter Obi has won, he will not hand over to Peter Obi? Is it the president? Or is it a cabal within the presidency or outside the presidency that will now say, despite the fact that Peter Obi had been declared the winner of the elections, if he wins, then they will not hand over power to him? Who is that person that will not give it to him if Peter Obi wins? So these are the questions that we should ask, because this propaganda, this particular propaganda, seem to be working amongst people who have not decided on which particular candidate to go for. And the reason they are throwing around, they are bandying this kind of propaganda, is to discourage such well-meaning Nigerians from even coming out to vote. Or when they vote, they will vote the old parties. That's why this propaganda is out there. So I want to appeal to you, dear Nigerian, don't let this propaganda get to you, because it is simple. Even in 1993, when we were under military rule, it was very difficult. It was impossible, almost impossible, for General Ibrahim Babangida to cancel that election. And when he actually annulled it, he tried to put it on the ground of electoral violence. Now, if Peter Obi wins, it would have meant that the elections were peaceful and they were fair and they were credible, because Peter Obi is not in charge of the machinery of state. So Peter Obi is a peace-loving person and could not have been involved in any violence. So it means that for Peter Obi to win, because the only way Peter Obi wins is through a peaceful election. And that is why we are doing everything that we can to make sure that the elections are peaceful. And that's why the plan to put spy cameras at the polling units is very, very crucial and critical to the victory of Peter Obi. Because the only way he wins, really, is when the elections are peaceful. Now, let's come back to the annulment of the 1993 election. It was hinged upon certain reasons that revolved around violence and malpractices. If Peter Obi wins, the elections would have been free and fair. So the question of malpractice would not have come in. So there will be no grounds for anybody to come and annul the election. That would be an invitation to anarchy. That would be an invitation. That would be the end of Nigeria. So let nobody deceive you by telling you that even if Peter Obi wins, that they will not give it to him. That is simply not true. In fact, that is a lie from the pit of hell. It is mere propaganda. Propaganda that is calculated to discourage you, the average Nigerian out there, the extremely poor Nigerian out there, those who have not been benefiting from the corruption in the system. You are the ones that are the target of this propaganda. So I beg you in the name of God, don't let this propaganda get to you. If Peter Obi wins, no Jupiter, no force in Nigeria, not even the military, can stop the transfer of power to him. If Peter Obi wins, which means that he was declared winner by INEC, then the next thing that will happen is that he will be sworn into office. Unless he is assassinated, which by the grace of God they cannot do. So don't let anybody discourage you by telling you even if Peter Obi wins, they will not give it to him. They just want to discourage you. They just want to make sure that you don't come out and vote. Because the only way the APC or the PDP can win is when people don't come out to vote. When people don't come out in their large numbers to vote, we make it easy for these old parties, the APC and the PDP, we make it easy for them to rig. Because think about it, if they have to buy votes, and we are 80 million Nigerians, and each vote costs 10,000 naira, you imagine how much money they will spend to buy votes alone. They don't have that kind of money. Even if they raise that kind of money, the people in their presidential campaign council, the people in the party, from the federal to the state to the local government, a lot of these monies are eaten by them. That's why they kill themselves to come and join the presidential campaign council. That's why they kill themselves. So even if they manage to gather such money from the funds they have looted from being in office, the people who are in their campaign council, the people who are in the party hierarchy, they will eat 80 to 90% of the money, and the money will not get to Nigerians. The money will not be available to buy votes of 80 million Nigerians at 10,000 naira each. They simply cannot do it. So that's why they are coming up with this kind of propaganda to make sure that people don't come out, to discourage people from coming out, so that inadvertently we will make it easy for them to rig. I beg you, Nigerians, please disregard this kind of propaganda. They are lies from the pit of hell. If Peter Obi is declared winner, power will be handed over to him on May 29, 2023. That's the simple truth. No Jupiter can stop him. Anything short of that will be invitation to anarchy. Let's do our part. Our part is to come out and vote. If you have not collected your PVC, please go out and collect it. If you registered before December 31st, 2021. And if you register between January and July 31, well, hopefully before the end of this month of November, your PVCs will be ready. Please go early to collect it to avoid last minute rush, so that you can have your PVC in your hand and then you can come out and vote in your number. Right now we have excess of 80 million registered voters. If those 80 million people come out, it will be impossible for them to rig. It will be impossible for them to use their thug, because how many are their thugs? How many thugs can they buy? And then once the elections are peaceful, because we have outpowered and overpowered and outsmarted their thugs, the security personnel will not be able to do any or get involved in any malpractice, because we have put our spy cameras in the polling units. Then it will mean that there will be no ground, no basis for them to infiltrate or manipulate INEC. INEC can only be manipulated if there is violence, and then they will come and cancel. But once there is no violence, because we have mitigated that by the strategy of the spy cam at polling units, once there is peaceful election, there will be no grounds for INEC manipulation. And so coming out to vote is key to all of these things. Coming out to vote is key to stopping their rigging. That's why they don't want you to come out to vote. That's why they are coming up with this kind of propaganda to say even if Peter Obi wins, they will not give it to him. That's a lie. If Peter Obi wins, consider him the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They will hand over to him. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can stop it. If there's any reason you feel they can stop it, let me know. I am open I'm all ears. I'd like to hear it. Let's have reasonable conversation. I'm not interested in those who are rabble-rousers for the APC or PDP who will just come and be abusing without giving any serious reason. I'm talking to well-meaning Nigerians out there, those of you that are still on the fence. If you feel that there's a reason for which that even if Peter Obi wins, they will not give it to him, do let me know. I'm open to your reasonable arguments so that I can also learn. It's not like I know it all. I'm just putting this, contributing my own quota so that we can have a better Nigeria that works for all. Right now, Nigeria is working for less than 0.1%. And it's those 0.1% of persons that have cornered our common wealth that are now going to pay some foolish people who are ready to sell their soul for their stomach's sake to come to social media, to come online and be abusing others. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this particular issue. The next thing is, if Peter Obi wins, how will he handle the National Assembly if he does not have majority? We'll handle this in another video. Even if Peter Obi wins, they will not give it to him.